represents a mega economy where we can transition part of the Lockheed Martin, Boeings, and other players into scaled up space economy designated for the peace. So with that, I want to acknowledge again Marin for your leadership. And remember, the orange, Bitcoin orange stands, and this represents invitation to our Bitcoin, especially Bitcoin and Doge land owners, to become useful financially in becoming active participants and dedicated their financing to missions like what you are sharing with us today. And Lady Bucket Foundation is already participating in funding similar initiatives. Thank you so much.
Eva. Beautifully said. Let's pass it over to Patrick. And I believe we have a couple others who are joining us now, Aaron and Anna. Lovely to see you both. Thank you for joining. And yeah, let's pass on to Patrick. Bring it in.
Thanks, you, Eva. I'm Patrick Weeks. I'm the co-founder and CTO of Biome, and we've been working with Peace Train specifically around the sustainability of peace, around the mantra of let's make peace more profitable than war, and the vast amount of infrastructure that needs to be built to support that long-term vision. Currently, a lot of the content creator and artist ecosystem are controlled by a few large players like Spotify, YouTube, Ticketmaster, large broadcasting corporations, things like that. And we aim to break these entrenched pipelines and build the grassroots technology infrastructure that distributes resources more fairly and more directly to content creators, to their communities, and even to leaders of movements and leaders of those communities. So more specifically, similar to Eva, we're focusing on Web3 technology and helping turn some of those participants not just into holders of content, but into active participants within communities. We've recently reached past the early adopter era of Web3, where you had a lot of niche, small, very tech-savvy pioneers. And now we've reached a point where the tech has matured and it's ready to support a lot of more wide mainstream initiatives, but it's still very raw technology, and there's not a lot of the interfaces and the more human relatable types of connections to that technology that let people really take advantage of the power of it. So this is where Biome's really leading the charge and where we're excited to work with Peace Train. We're really looking at building out what are those interfaces, what are those human connections to this technology that let people interface with it, benefit from it, but most specifically without needing to know anything about it. We are entering the era of invisible Web3, and that's where we are really bringing our focus. With Peace Train specifically, we are focused on artists, content creators, and leaders of grassroots movements, and we're looking to help them build out new revenue streams to maintain and control those revenue streams, and to make sure that that flow of money, instead of flowing up into the larger corporations and away from those content creators, instead reverses and flows with them being the end recipient, and with corporations and brands having the ability to participate in those revenue streams, benefit from them, but with the flow of money ultimately going towards the content creators. So we're slowly chipping away at the power of those big platforms and bringing things back to a grassroots artist and creator movement. Currently, we have reached a point where we have launched native apps, online portals, a rich Web3 backend, but we are just at the start of this journey, and we're excited to be working with Peace Train and listening to the leaders within these movements, the needs they have, the opportunities that are arising, and make sure that we're there to support the tech infrastructure they need to fulfill their missions. Most recently, in light of the horrible fires in LA, we will be launching a stream of content aimed at raising funds to help with those relief efforts. We'll be working with artists in LA and bringing those communities together as really a perfect use case of why we built this tech in the first place, and the immediate benefit can have towards healing the earth. So we'll be launching that content over the next week. If there are any artists specifically in the LA area who are interested in participating, or anyone who'd like to participate in another way, whether financially or through just some sort of action, I highly encourage you to reach out to me, patrick@biome.studio, and we'd be more than happy to grow the community and see what good we can bring through the technology we've built. And I will pass it off back to you, Adam. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks, Patrick. I'll just carry it throw the torch right over to Anna Cardona, who I saw join us not too long ago. Welcome, Anna. Good to see you.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Marion and Anand, for having me join this panel. It's an honor. Again, I'm Anna Cardona. I go by the Memphis Sound Healer, and I also am the executive director of Tate County Economic Development Foundation. And we are promoting peace and prosperity through the Mississippi region through our community events and promoting the peace train. We are also using regenerative principles in our community development and informed by peace. I'm also sound healing for peace through quantum molecular subconscious programming. And this will be highlighted on the peace train as well. So I'm very glad to join you guys. And I would encourage you to check out my sound healing, the Memphis Sound Healer, on Instagram and TikTok. And I also have a website as well. But I will be joining the peace train as a sound healer to promote peace and prosperity for all.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I'd love to double click on the quantum molecular sound healing at some point. That's a deeper discussion. So please, everyone, follow Anna for in her Instagram, the Memphis Sound Healer. She has some more information on that, because it's really the opportunity for sound healing to proliferate around the world and for people to understand the scientific reasons why sound healing actually works and actually heals people from multi-generational trauma, and things like, you know, when bomb, just really quickly before we move on, just to really highlight this point, you know, when there are things that happen in the world, like war, when things like bombs go off, that creates a vibrational ripple effect. And so sound healing specifically addresses that vibration and brings people back into homeostasis and into internal harmony. And so what the methodologies that Anna and multiple artists on our peace train are sharing with the world are actually scientifically proven to heal people from these types of traumas that can happen for a multitude of reasons. So really encourage everyone to follow Anna at the Memphis Sound Healer to learn more, because she shares a lot about this on her Instagram. And also stay tuned for the peace train, where we will be sharing more about this as well. So thank you so much for bringing that up, and just so deeply appreciate your work. And I've had the honor and gift of receiving a sound healing from you and your epic tuning forks that are, how big are your tuning forks? They're like massive.
They're about 2 feet high and 6 inches wide and 2 inches deep. So they are gigantic. But thank you for that. Yeah, sound healing is so important for the peace train, because it does change our quantum molecular structures and reprograms our subconscious.
You know, listening to you, I hope you have a smaller version of your incredible sound healing capabilities, because as a leader of designing a next generation of international space stations, but also through my effort, I'm already designing life quality for the moon destination, for our moon colony. Sounds like what you just described should be a standard equipment for
Yes.
livelihood in space. And one of my focuses is to address not necessarily infrastructural technology, but the ambience, the quality of experience. And as a matter of fact, after my meetings with leaders of sound at a Consumer Electronics Show, where I was quite a person that they considered to inspire them, because I said I am designing next space station around sound, and I didn't know about you, so my focus right now is to create a collage of the speakers, because space is silence. Silence is dangerous. So I am very happy to open up gates to Lady Rocket Sound in Space, and wonderful to meet you.
And I just
Thank you.
realized that laughter is a form of sound healing.
Of course.
Yes.
Certainly. So it's my favorite one, actually.
Just in consideration of time, let's make sure we
Exactly.
get all the voices in. Aaron, maybe you want to take
Exactly.
over, and then we'll go to Dekai. Welcome, Dekai. Glad you made it.
Greetings and blessings, everyone. It's an honor to be with you. Definitely wanted to thank you all for putting this together and for your patience around the technology. I want to invite everybody just to give yourself a hug right now. I have been a little bit under the weather myself, and I know that the world is going through so much right now, and as someone that is first and foremost a spiritual being having a human experience, I just want to bring in the human element here and invite us to continue to love ourselves in these times. When we talk about peace as starting inside ourselves, I think it really is, how do we cultivate kindness and gentleness and a deep sense of love for ourselves first, so that then we can ripple that out to our families, communities, our nations, and hopefully to the systems of our world can start to transition from so much structural violence. But let me introduce myself first. I am a best-selling author and a obsessive storyteller. I love the narratives of the world. I think that our brains, well, I don't think that. I know through study that our brains are formed, hardwired, in fact, through narrative. So the stories that we tell, both at a macro and micro level, really dictate and structure society in so many ways. And I think if we tell better stories, protopian stories, stories of co-opetition, let's say, collaboration, of community, the power of the collective over the individual, because when the collective wins, the individual also wins. I think we need to sort of flip that equation. But those narratives are available to all of us in our ancient memory, when we go back into some of our our own original peoples, because we're all, hopefully, all of us indigenous to somewhere on this earth. And I think that a lot of indigenous storytelling really does position the community as the hero. The Buddha said that, or the Buddha of this generation is the Sangha. So yeah, and as a storyteller and as a creative, that's working across different disciplines, I've had a long career in music as a professional rapper and singer. I'm also a producer, multi-instrumentalist, and am obsessed with the science and the science of sound. I think that vibration carries so much medicine. Having raised my 8-year-old, I see how important sound is directly on children. Just the tone of our voice, how we offer discipline, those type of basics. And one of the ways in which I've seen creativity and culture being so important, because I think it translates the consciousness of humanity most honestly, our stories, our songs, our all the ways in which we're creative in the world, and all the ways in which we offer our creativity, is that it actually, I always say that cultural change precipitates political change, meaning when we transform our culture to reflect maybe some of the moral arc of the universe, as Dr. King said, whose birthday we just celebrated this week. If we are really like orienting ourselves toward a moral vision as a humanity, and I think that ethics and morals matter. I think that when we change those moral, ethical equations, especially in culture, then our politics start to shift. We become less divisive. We become less authoritarian. We become less, some of the patterns that we're seeing around the world and the divisiveness of our global politics I think, become resolved when we learn how to communicate with one another, when we learn how to create together. And so my hope is that we, as a collective here and as a global community, can start to really pull apart the importance of culture together, and to, to invest and put energy and power behind the projects that hopefully are moving us toward a more ethical vision for humanity. I have some really exciting projects in that vein. I won't necessarily get too much into the weeds on my world right now, but I just kind of wanted to throw out some of the ideas that I'm wrestling with in my work. But before I give up the mic, I do just want to give a shout out that I do have a peace anthem coming out, which is with Sony Music and Commissioner Gordon and Kamani Marley, Sammy Joe, extraordinary young artist coming up, who's really exploding. And we have a really special anthem that we're offering the world, and hopefully more music that represents this kind of spirit. It's called Freedom Riders, and so stay tuned. I'll circulate that, and I look forward to ways in which we can collaborate. Maren, again, thank you so much for your leadership, and Adam as well. It's great to meet you all virtually, and look forward to being in the same room someday, and to where this conversation goes from here.
Thank you, Aaron. Best of luck on this track launch. It sounds great. I look forward to checking that out and finding out about that. And please share widely so we can spread through our platforms. Dekai, and it looks like we have Brandy. Beautiful, wonderful. We've got 10 more minutes, I believe, in the main slot for this panel, so we may have to be slightly more brief, but I'm really glad that you both made it. Thank you for coming.
Hi,
And Dekai and Katie are actually together, thankfully, so the three to close it out.
Great. Yeah. Good.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you very much. So my name is Dekai. If any of you have ever used Google Translate, Microsoft Bing Translate, Yahoo Translate, what have you, I'm a longtime AI professor and pioneered those types of services. My life has been dedicated to the mission of getting folks from one group, one tribe, one subculture, etc., to be able to better understand and relate to those of another. And a lot of that does have to do with the languages that we use, with the kinds of stories that we tell, how we conceptualize the world. Today, for the last 10 years, I've also been working very heavily on the problem of information disorder within AI ethics and society, because about 10 years ago, I had an Oppenheimer moment. I saw the same machine learning and natural language processing techniques that folks like us helped pioneer being used in ways that were polarizing people instead of connecting them. And that's a trend that is leading to a lot of conflict, a lot of fear, hatred, demonization, dehumanization today, both domestically in countries as well as geopolitically, that is spiraling out of control and is not something that is survivable, sustainable in a 21st century when AI is simultaneously commoditizing weapons of mass destruction. We cannot repeat the mindset of the 20th century. World War I was sparked by the assassination of one obscure archduke. World War II started and we hadn't even invented the atom bomb, let alone hypersonic missiles that are self-navigating through AI, meshed fleets of lethal armed drones, genetically engineered bioweapons powered by the same computational linguistics, sequence machine learning that folks in our field helped pioneer. We cannot survive this. And so I believe AI is one of the best tools we have ever developed that could help us to connect to each other and to understand rather than to fear each other. But that is only going to happen if we create a cultural mindset, if we create the social will to deploy AI in that way instead of deploying it the way we are deploying it today in social media, in recommendation, in search engines, in chatbot responses, in newsfeed algorithms, in ways that have us only seeing things the way that we already see them, that we want to see them. We need more than ever in the age of AI to understand each other better. And I implore all of you to join us in changing that culture. The tip of this particular mission that I've been on for the last 10 years is about to drop. I'm the author of a book called Raising AI. It reframes our understanding of AI, not as a god, not as a slave. AIs are our children. And I want to ask all of you, how's your parenting? Because no matter how much I work with the think tanks that I'm on to set regulatory policy, at the end of the day, whatever regulations we create for big tech, please remember, we, all of us, are the training data. And whatever big tech does, at the end of the day, those machines are learning from their role models, which are us, and how we behave every day in these devices that all of us are carrying 24/7. Please join us. There's a lot to unpack. My homepage is in my Zoom name. It's actually my name, dek.ai. Please sign up there to join. I will send you part of the book, whatever MIT Press lets me send you, for free, even before it drops in May, because there's a lot to do, and it can't only be in the hands of the elite. It has to be in the hands of all of us 8 billion parents of the AIs that are shaping our culture more even than humans are doing today. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn over the mic to Katie Bohens here.
That's my partner, my life partner, Dakai, and he does many annoying things, as you anyone in a relationship knows, and then he gets on camera and he's just so beautiful. And I'm honored to share my life with him and his mission because it's just gorgeous. And I could go on about him, but I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Katie Bohens. I am a poet. You've probably rarely, if ever, met a professional poet, but I have 3 books of poetry, 2 edited volumes. I ran a press for 7 years, Tender Buttons Press. It was founded in 1989. It publishes exclusively women experimental writers. 30% of the writers on this press have been awarded with Guggenheims for Lifetime Achievement in the Arts. I performed once in Ezra Pound's Castle, and that for his daughter and grandson, that was probably the highlight of my career. So very serious about it. And my day job is in data science for Fortune 500 companies. And at some point I got bored doing optimizing AT&T's $1.5 billion annual marketing budget. That's America alone. Most Fortune 500 companies spend somewhere between 500 million and $1 billion a year in marketing to influence consumer behavior and purchase patterns. And I was like, this is boring because it gets really repetitive. And so what I have done is I have started a company called The Ratio to use all of the technology that I know how to do with data science and machine learning and now AI, but apply it to a data set that I find fascinating. And that data set is astrology. So I just said astrology out loud, and probably everyone's like, who is this woo-woo person? But something that we overlook often in the West is the ancient history of astrology, which is that it's actually technically the world's oldest data science. And many people believe it is the world's oldest thought system. So the Babylonians wrote down on stone tablets 6 times a day alongside the price of wheat for 600 years. the positions of all of the planets. And from this, we are able to create a data set which anoints the selection of the constellations that become the zodiac. And if you look at a circle of the zodiac next to the unit circle of trigonometry, the bedrock of what we call mathematics or pure mathematics, they're almost identical. And you can understand, which is actually my journey. So my journey was, I'm a pure mathematician, a degree in pure mathematics from Georgetown University. And in my poetry studies, I was trying to understand ancient Greek culture and read all of the origins that I could of poetry from Sappho on up. And I was thinking about Greek society and I was like, why would you do all these triangles? Why would you spend 2 millennia writing about trigonometry? I don't know if you remember it, but it's exhaustive. It's like, it's not like one formula. It's like a lot of formulas, right? Why would you do this? Why? And I realized it's because they were studying astrology, because that was extremely important to that society. And I went down a rabbit hole and I was like, I want to know, okay, is astrology just this ancient thing that has no value, or is it really interesting? And I have to go now. And anyway, so we have the contemporary technology. That's what we're doing. I figure if we can, as humans, we should. It's part of our ancient history and it might hold secrets that we just don't know yet. So we're looking.
We should. And most people don't realize there actually have been a huge series of scientific studies that have shown tremendous accuracy when you account for all the planets and the positions and the aspects. And prior studies only studied them one at a time. So there is huge scientific evidence behind it. Thank you so much. Brandy, bring your voice in before we come to the end of our time. It's great to have you here.
I see that there's 0 time on the on air. How much time do I have?
We're still on air, so just go for it.
Okay, thank you so much. And I love what we're experiencing today as we are moving into the light of DeFi and decentralized finance, also known from TradFi to DeFi to refi. And I focus a lot on refi, which is regenerative finance. My name is Brandy Vale. I'm a transformational educator. My roots are in understanding how we are all connected in a unified field. And as a holistic practitioner, where my true roots stem from, it's my honor to be here and to see all of you today. So my mission through this journey is to create peace through decentralization and to own your own data and to be able to harvest that data so you can do what you want in this world for good. And so I am the founder of Being Investments, which is a global board of advisors. I'm also the creator of Yes3 Network, which brings wonderful advisors like you and skilled and available teams to change the way that we communicate with values and virtues and moral codes that somehow cultures created, but somehow it got taken apart. And so I am fostering global unity and promoting this financial literacy program through decentralization, social good communities, mindfulness, and working with all of the leaders out there to get back to the heart of the matter. It's like, why you? Why this? Why now? We are it. And just as Dakai had said, I'm very involved in what's going on with AI. I think this is a very important piece to the puzzle. But again, don't be misled. We need EI over AI. EI, emotional intelligence. We have to stand in for our truth, for Mother Nature, for our social atmospheres of being one-to-one to one-to-many. One-to-one is really important. Being in a human. Be human about this technology. We are it. Nature, uplifting each other on a constant level. But of course, being rewarded for things that we do in this new marketplace, not taken advantage of. So there's a lot to it. What I'm really having fun with right now is creating strategic partnerships and tokenomics that support them in the DeFi journey. So please, if you're out there and you're curious about going offline to go back online, please reach out to me. And also, if you're really wanting to tell your story, as much as the media is blitzing everything at all times, getting core storytelling to help support your marketing and your promotions of your business, our communities can help you with that. Our organization is really getting to the core of the matter, core of the story. It's no longer public relations. It is personal relations. And I like to say PR is a little bit different these days. So at Yes3 Network, we help you redefine that story and also store what we're storing inside and what we're putting out there into the world. So what else? Thank you so much, Maren, for inviting me to be a part of this collaboration of making peace more fashionable than war. I think that's really important, is that we're moving into a new harvest here. And there are a lot of platforms to be on, but the number one platform is to remember being human and to show up for one another. Some of my history is all about developing programs, starting with the youth, financial literacy, having the SDGs is one of my platforms for a very long time. I decided that SDG is not really a thing. I think it is about community, not SDG. I think it is about community and getting back to our roots of family and indigenous qualities and abundant, universal abundant income, making sure that that sticks. So I want to put this out there to you all. Remember, it's not always about technology. I got into technology to help people get out of technology. I know it sounds strange, but it's really important. So let's go back to our roots and our families. Okay, kids? Thank you so much. Thank you.
Reggie, thank you so much. Maren, why don't you come back in and just bring us home and tie a bow on this beautiful collection of people and this mission that you're so deeply dedicated to on a daily basis. It's an honor to be working with you. Yeah, tell us a little bit more about the Peace Train as we close.
Thank you so much, dear Adam, and thank you everyone for sharing your wisdom and your brilliance on this panel and in the world. It's truly such an honor and delight to be on this journey together and to make peace more fashionable and profitable than war, and to achieve world peace by 2030. And several of us spoke about the imperative of storytelling, and so we are all together sharing this meta narrative of the peace train, where we are sharing together all of our stories, all of our solutions with the world, and from one unified platform and one unified story, so that the world can be inspired and follow all of us together. And we're utilizing technology, as Brandy so beautifully shared. We're utilizing technology and the power of technology to build the community, to foster the in-person engagement. So more people getting together and enjoying time and space together in person and celebrating and enjoying Mother Nature and celebrating Mother Nature and honoring ourselves, each other, and Mother Nature. So we're so honored and grateful to be here. Please stay tuned to our platform of the Peace Train. We are the Peace Train Earth on